Hello. So today we're going to focus a bit on some open, chest opening um, stretches, gentle stretches that you can do post gardening. This is the month of May, and at the studio, we're focusing on sort of helping everyone counterbalance all this forward stuff that we do while we're in the garden. So today, if you have a foam roller, that's what I would say use. If you don't have a foam roller, you could use a blanket. This is just one of those sort of like yoga blankets. And I would roll the loose end in first and make it pretty tight. And I'm a short person, and this is not long enough for my spine, but it needs to be somewhat thick so that it doesn't mush too much. But I'm going to show you, if you have a blanket, this is where you'll put it, and then I'll show you on the roller. So if you've got a blanket, I would back up towards the blanket so it's a little bit, it doesn't need to touch your pelvis, but I guess it could if your low back can handle that sort of um, arch. But if you have any low back issues, I would say start it a little bit higher, right? And then you can lay back and rest your head on it. So that's where I would put your blanket if you're using one. If you happen to have a foam roller, a pool noodle maybe could work. You want to get your tail on there and your head, and your head on there so that you can have your whole self on there. If you're really long, you could put a yoga block at the end so your head can rest on something there, but you want your body up. So all I would say is you need your knees bent. You can have your hands down and you can just let yourself begin to rest on this. It's the same if you had the blanket, right? And then if this is because if we're tight, we've done a lot of this in the garden. So we're allowing the weight of our arm bones to sort of fall back and our blades will sort of migrate together, and you sort of hug the roller a little bit with your blades to get the chest to open. You don't have to actively squeeze them, but you're just letting them fall open. You could do palms up, and you could even come out to where you're in sort of a letter T shape. And now the stretch might run a bit more through your arm line. And I would, you could listen to the news or listen to a podcast or have the music on or just take it outside and listen to the birds and just hang for a little bit. And then if this is feeling okay, you could do some arm circles. You don't have to go in a range of motion that is troublesome if you have shoulder issues. It could even be a bent arm circle for if it feels scary to do a full arm circle. But you would do both directions just to feel some, and if there's a place at which you like, oh yeah, that's where I like the stretch, you could hang out there for a little bit. And then you would do both directions to just loosen that up. And then one of my favorite ones is a goalpost stretch, where if I take my arms up to the ceiling and I take them to the wall behind me, and then I bend my elbows and make a goalpost shape, and then sort of relax and let my hands be heavy, my right fingertips are pretty close to the mat. My left ones are not. I have a little more range on that right side. So it's just a much different stretch, and you could pick any of those, sort of make up your own, but this is just a gentle way to sort of open up the chest and reverse the curve that we've been doing while in the garden or working in the yard.